the idea is still there that you don't want this Zeus to be able to lane against the TA, so I don't think it's going to be Zeus. But Clockwork or Phoenix, they are certain possibilities. Like you could run the Phoenix as a 3, a Clockwork as a 4, just if you wanted to get those earlier timings to perhaps put a little bit more pressure onto the enemy team, get your Shivas or your Vessel, or I don't know. Honestly, I just don't like Army Genius's draft. I'm trying to make it work. But, this Enchantress and Earth Spirit, it's just about, like, A, securing the early game so that you can get those BKBs with the Ench, and then the Earth Spirit is, okay, we're up against 3 heroes that love to spellcast. Dive them, silence them, what can they do?
It's going to be interesting. AG, fourth pickup, they'll have a bit of a think about this one. I suppose one way they can win with this draft if there's another blackout here for MIPH, that's a decent way of doing it. Hopefully that doesn't happen though.
That's plan B.
Yeah.
We want to stay on plan A for now. I mean, we even saw, like, with the Zeus in game 1, right? It didn't really do anything in the lane. Like, it just meant that you weren't... I mean, you can pair a Zeus with a Medusa, right? But again, what does it do? What are you actually providing that a different position 5 would not do better? And then, most of the time, a Medusa is going to be your 4 protect 1 sort of style of carry. Zeus doesn't protect Jack. You have to protect the Zeus to make sure he's enabled. So, I don't know, this seems a little disjointed for Army Geniuses.
It certainly does. I mean, again, it's a question of what position the Zeus is going into for me. If it's like a mid Zeus, then that might make matters even worse, to be quite frank. If it's
I think they're going to reveal with the bans in Army Geniuses, right? If they're going to get rid of heroes that love to dive deep, like a Storm Spirit, a Void Spirit, these style of things, then I think you could maybe say, okay, they really want to put this Zeus mid just because they have the last pick overall. They are going to understand where the TA is.
Well, there's the Kunkka ban out there for MIPH and AG. They do get rid of the Puck, so I guess it's kind of indicating it could be the mid Zeus to come out. It's just, if it is a mid Zeus, it kind of goes back to that same problem. Like, you get BKBs up, and then just you do nothing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you don't even have anyone that wants to be pushing in the meantime, right? Medusa needs to farm. So while she's farming, what are you doing? You can get kills every... I don't even know what the Clockwork level 1 hookshot cooldown is, but every that amount of time, But outside of that, you got nothing.
Level 1 is 60 seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
One more ban to come for AG, and we can see these drafts continue. MIPH, they get rid of the Ember. There's your AM ban, so it does probably appear it's going to be a mid-Zeus, though it is very good against the Medusa. But there's your Bat Rider now, so if you want to go mid-Zeus now against Bat, it does seem somewhat rough. Like, you get sticky napalmed a couple times, and you're basically just screwed.
The jump does slow. That's the thing, though, right? So you're going to be able to potentially get a little bit further away, especially now that it's 1.5 seconds. And we talk about heroes like Storm Spirit that actually don't hate going up against the Bat Rider just because he's spamming the sticky napalm so much that you're going to have a ton of magic wand charges. So I feel like the Zeus might actually be doable for this mid lane now. Like, it's not going to be a safe lane Bat. So I would put Zeus mid, and I would just look to put whatever off laner? Yeah, whatever offlaner I could that was going to pair well together with a Phoenix to be able to prevent the TA from farming as much as they can.
Okay. AG, if you have to pick up now, this will reveal everything for us. Does feel like they need someone in the off lane, though again, they could run off lane clock if they really feel like they need to. I have been seeing a bit of that coming back, and it does work for some people, but for others, it doesn't look too amazing. AG, 35 seconds left to think about this.
I'm just thinking, like, give me some push, but it's not a good game for Beastmaster or Lycan. Dawnbreaker wouldn't be horrible if you're going like this 4 protect 1 strat, but you don't, again, do anything in terms of pushing. Just stuff that you can use the Phoenix Egg to bait for. Like, could they Enigma this game? Maybe?
Already banned. They'll go the Beastmaster
anyway.
Okay. Well, I mean, you pointed out you don't think the Beastmaster does anything this game apart from pushing.
I mean, you've got an Enchantress you're up against, right? They're just going to take the boars. Like, no, this is not a good Army Geniuses draft in my eyes, and I think Made in Philippines have got it if their internet stays safe.
Okay. The thing is, though, I believe Beastmasters these days, they go for the Wild Axes build-up, right, during the laning stage, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
But is that going to help you push?
Yeah, true. I'll see how it goes. I think you and I both kind of agree that MIPH's draft does look substantially better going into this game number 3. Again, I personally think it should have been a 2-0 victory already, but, you know, sometimes things happen out of everyone's control. You can't really help it.
Do you see who's playing the clock, Mike?
Azura is playing the clock, so mid-clock coming out. Very interesting.
Not a big fan. I mean, a melee hero into a Batrider is probably not the best way you want to do it. I mentioned why the Zeus might have been okay playing it this game, but I don't know. Maybe they just feel like he's going to get more levels, and so that hookshot cooldown is going to start shrinking, 60 seconds down to 45 once you hit level 12, and then maybe you can make some plays onto the likes of Ken to be able to prevent him from contesting the Medusa. But I think the lane is going to go really badly for him.
It certainly feels that way. Let's see how this one goes. Game number 3 between Army Geniuses and MIPH. Set to get underway. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Clockwork spammer. Clockwork is my most played hero. And I must admit, apart from players like Tundra 9, who obviously can make these heroes work, I just don't think Clockwork's a mid-hero at all.
Yeah.
It's got great gank potential, sure, like you can roam the map very easily, but there's gonna come a stage where the hero just feels like it's not doing anything anymore.
Yeah, I think he played amazingly that game. I think there was a SA Div 1 game that was played, and the Clockwork mid won, but it wasn't really a result of him. And even just from watching that series where 9 played the Clockwork, I watched the winner's interview, which was him, and he said, look, it was just an amazing clock game against 3 different heroes. He played it in a couple of pubs. They haven't scrimmed with it at all, and it just ended up working out for them because 9's an amazing player. So
right.
We'll see. Who knows if this is something that Army Geniuses have been scrimming and think works, but he's going to need to have one hell of a game in my eyes to get them across the line.
I look forward to watching it. I mean, I wouldn't mind busting out the mid-clock if in my own pubs, Danog, if I see something special here. So let's see what they build up. I believe that the build-up is meant to be into Orchid for mid-clock, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's one of those things where we have to wait and see. Though if you do manage to get a nice early Orchid on this mid-clock work, it obviously can be very devastating to try and play against for pretty much anybody on the side of MIPH, up until you get those BKBs, of course. But again, the timing, if you can get a very quick Orchid, you can basically just deny them from ever really getting a good timing on these BKBs, and obviously, eventually, DB's Medusa should take over.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is as well, I'm just going to add another hero. I feel like this list is just growing more and more of these mid-heroes that need to absolutely dominate and make every single rotation a success. There's like, your Quap, Wind Ranger, Meepo, Clockwork now, Shadow Fiend, kind of. You just fall off if you don't, right? You miss 1 or 2 hook shots, and then suddenly the TA has a BKB, and your rotation isn't anywhere near as good.
A bit of a scuffle going on at the top side. Of course, Lucifer trying to fight bottom of the map here against Varish and DB as well, but all the team fights happening up top. They do get away with the bounty rune, though. It seems like it's going to be another 3-for-1 trade in the favor of MIPH for the 3rd game in a row. They do go ahead and take the last one. So another nice start for MIPH. And this time around, we'll start with the bottom lane. Of course, you're going to have that Mars on the POS 3 roll with Lucifer on the POS 4 ES. Against, of course, DB on the position 1 Medusa. And Varish is going to be there on the position 5 Zeus. See how this one works out, but what are you thinking about this lane? Who should have the advantage?
In which lane, sorry?
In the bottom lane.
I would say, anytime you're playing this Zeus, right, it's just going to be really difficult in my eyes to impact it too heavily. Previously, if he had like the static build still, then maybe you can look to, actually looking for some aggressive movements by Lucifer just to try and cut the lane. So feeling like they need the levels to be able to contest up into the Zeus, but Paris is actually doing a really good job body blocking here.
He certainly is. They will block the small camp though, and Lucifer will be able to pull his wave over, surely, though he might lose the range. In fact, he's lost the whole thing. Great little play there by Varish. Lucifer Not able to pull the creep wave away, though it does seem like he is still trying, but is now stuck to kind of just stick around and doesn't even connect the roll now. Very awkward situation here for Lucifer as everything's working against him. Varish, he'll just run around in circles and will try to contest this large camp. The Rupido's even shown up. There's a few creeps his way as well. They are going to meet up by the tier 1 tower, and I think overall you'd probably be okay with that as AG.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mars didn't get to farm a full creep wave. It just went into that hard camp. They were also able to get it blocked up, not needing to be concerned about the lane being pulled in, of course, because you were using it for your own potential. So DB gets a lot of that solo farm, gets out of the very early laning stage, and yeah, big win coming through for Army Geniuses there.
Well, how's mid lane going? Azura on the clockwork. I think a fair bit of damage here from JG. It did seem like the clock tried to get a little bit more aggressive, and he's going to be punished for it, trying to dive into that tier 1 tower. Of course, JG hasn't got any points in Firefly yet. He could always decide to go for the Flame Break instead. Something he has also decided is to give both Water Runes away to Azura. So, JG not going for the bottle fit up, rather trying to prioritize the creep wave instead, and I suppose that is fair enough, but it doesn't seem like he's opted to make the dive in onto Azura, and for now, the mid-clock is working out very nicely.
Working out for now. The thing is, though, like you mentioned, the Flame Break, it's a great way to just make sure that you're never going to be trapped inside the cogs against him. You're going to be able to negate a lot of that aggressive dive potential, and then when he's in a bad spot, that's when the Fireflies can come out. So I'm still anticipating that JG is going to have a good time overall in this lane.
It's interesting, though. Like, do you not want to dominate the lane as a Spat Rider? Because it feels like Azura's getting way too much.
I think people are just still not quite understanding how much damage that battery assault does now that you deal double damage to creeps. You know, he's just shoving the lane in, basically, making sure that JG is constantly playing on his side of the map.
Fair enough. I suppose there's not too much he can do about it right now. Was upper top lane, in fact, hold that thought, because bottom lane there was a bit of action breaking out, but looks like everyone's just fine. Of course, top lane, Wami going to be there on the Beastmaster, supported by his Phoenix, played by Narman. Again, a Tihi right behind. In fact, Wami going to be chased down. Is in big trouble, but is going to be able to get the TP away in time. So happy days for AG. Let's go back towards his tier 1 tower, but sadly has no regen. And in the meantime, Rupido going to go down for first blood against DB. As Lucifer still being chased down is going to be fine, but AG able to secure first blood.
Certainly wasn't expecting that on the bottom side. I would have to say that Maiden Philippines had the stronger lane, but, well, the thing that they're really hoping for on this top side of the map is Wami just needs another 10 gold so he can get that Helm of Iron Will, a little bit more of that passive regen coming through. Right now, he's just been spending the past wave and a half standing underneath the tower, even just for one more bit of regen. And okay, well, they get the turnaround kill.
That they do. DB, he kind of just stuck around, and they just rolled in and kicked him back towards the Mars, so bit of an error there, sticking around with no support, and, well, quite frankly, even if the Zeus was around, I doubt Varish could have done much to save him. Nice little trade there by MIPH. Small error being made there by the Deucer. That'll make it a 1-1 though, almost 5 minutes into this game 1, or rather game 3, I should say. It's mid lane. Azura in big trouble. Sticky Napalm stacking up. He'll go for the cogs, but there is the rollback. Azura still running. He's going to try for the TP out, and this Bat Rider just can't get anywhere near him. Meanwhile, top lane, though, Wami is going to drop. Ken able to secure a kill into the Beastmaster this time around. But man, this mid-clock, I'll tell you what, they cannot make a jump in.
He's doing a pretty good job, and Azura, he's been one of those players that I've been very impressed with over when he made his first steps into the higher tiers of the SEA scene, right? We're seeing it now more recently on people like Exilern, but he was really the initial one that was impressing me with a lot of his lane matchups. So certainly in the laning stage, he's one to watch.
That is certainly true. Azura still farming very nicely here, as it seems like the Bat Rider of all things is the one backing off back towards the fountain. There's no mana or HP to speak of, so the Bat maybe just giving up the 6-minute power rune, though he's going to try and TP there in time. But Azura already on the case and does have the hook shot up, so JG shouldn't have much of a chance at this, and Azura is going to take the regen rune. Happy days for the mid-clockwork. There's JG, he's going to try and chase, but can he get the kill? Oh, nice pushback from Tihi. Roll is there as well. Maybe this time around they can get it. Azura does get caught out. Hook shot. It's just going to land on Teehee. JG finally able to punish his mid-clockwork.
Yeah, really nice rotation coming through there. Obviously using the Wild Wing Ripper. Fantastic against the Cogs. Oh, they might even look to get another one for free.
Why the hell not? Lasso's there onto the Zeus. Marish gonna try and use that heavenly jump away. JG still chasing, but they don't actually have the damage. Somehow the +5 Zeus survives of all things. And now Azura.
Phoenix is coming.
He's back. JG, he hasn't got mana for Firefly, but no, he barely gets it. He'll go for a run. Sunray burning him down quite fastly, though JG needs to be very cautious. Marish has another Thunderstrike and does land it. And now the Wild Axes. They do come in from the left side, and that'll be enough for AG to secure another.
Okay, Wami actually needed that so badly. He was getting crushed in this top lane. 1,000 net worth lead already for Ken, who's been free farming. He's level 7 on the game right now, so he's just having another fantastic TA game. And I was mentioning before that, you know, you're going up against this Enchantress. You can't really look to put more points into the Call of the Wild. She's just going to steal them. He's obviously gone Wild Axes, but he's still going Helm of the Dominator. So Ench likes playing against that as well. So I'm just not seeing how they're actually going to be making space on the map with this sort of build.
It might just be all about going for the Overlord timing, which is something Ench can't touch for a while, but I do agree that it's a big investment to get before you get to that point. And well, like you said, the Ench always going to kind of have that counterplay up until the Overlord is up. Still, I suppose AG is still doing okay. 2-3 right now. Very slight net worth lead the way of MIPH. It's Azura. Thinking about chasing down JG, but doesn't have the hook shot available. And I wonder at what stage the clock starts rotating across the map. So far, all the kills that have been happening are in the mid lane. I suppose, to be fair, he hasn't even got phase boots up yet on the clockwork, so it's a bit of a slow process here for the clock, but at some point, you are going to have to get aggressive.
Yeah, he just needs the phase boots so that you can look to make plays. You need to be, again, he needs to be snowballing. He needs to be playing amazingly, dodging out the rolling boulder, making sure he's not getting speared by Rapido, you know, dodging out a Batrider. It's just a very highly mechanically demanding game that you're going to need to play here on Azura.
Roll is there. Narman has Icarus dive up, but they're going to go for the spear with the Arena. Just not going to land as Narman just swoops his way out, but now JG's going to intercept. That'll be another kill to go the way of the Batrider, surely, as Narman has no way out of that one. In the meantime,
and I'm not sure if that was... They do lose the mid.
They are going.
Yeah, they are.
Smoked up. Hookshot is there. Ken in trouble. Azura will get the hookshot landed. TA shouldn't have a way out either. And in fact, he won't. Ken does go down, so a very nice trade here for AG.
Very, very nicely done. Oh, just tossing out the Thunder God's Wrath. So I'm not sure if that was intentional by Narman and it nearly made him live, but I'm not sure if it's a recent change, but the way that the arena works these days is that if you run into it, obviously the spearman, the phalanx guy, whatever you want to call him, is just disabled for a little bit. So I feel like he ran into it on purpose and then Icarus dived while it was still on cooldown so that he could actually get outside of the arena. There's very few spells that enable you to do that, but I mean, if there's anyone that can execute that sort of thing, it's Narman.
Very, very good play here by Narman. Still 3-4. 3k net worth lead is there though for MIPH, so still very scary times here for Army Geniuses. You might have this Medusa, but we've seen this before. Even during Game 2, before the blackouts happened, Ken on the Morphling was just completely dominating the net worth graph, and DB is unable to keep up. At least for now though, DB I'd argue is having a better game on the Medusa. It still seems like Ken's going to be able to just hold that net worth lead though on his own on this TA, and I'm kind of depending on Azura to make those rotations constantly here, but looks like he's going to head up top. The only person around though is
together. Yeah, he's just doing his best to try and shove this wave out as much as possible, try and get rid of the siege creep to prevent a lot of the aggression. Nice hook shot coming through though.
It was a nice hook shot, Azura. Gonna set up for another. Keep in mind though, Danog, that little kind of chemistry between the Ench and the Beastmaster you talked about, it is coming into play. Like, Wami's had his creep stolen quite a few times now. by the Enchantress, so it's not the most happy days for AG, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. Wami, I mean, at least by being up here alongside, this is a Zeus and a Phoenix pushing a tower. It's assisted with a siege creep for sure, but it just shows how slow it is to make sure you're able to get a lot of these things happening. I almost wonder with the Enchantress if he's even going to go just keep it at 3 points in enchant, because that's all you need to make sure you can get those max level creeps, and then maybe going into a little bit more of the survivability from here on in with the Nature's Attendants.
Find out soon. Teehee for now, just again, very focused on taking all the dominant creeps away from Wami. AG, still 3k net worth behind. May just be comfortable with DB farming though. They do try to approach JG, but he's going to be okay. Zura does have hookshot available. JG going for a run, but the hookshot never comes out. Bit of hesitation, and well, to be fair, it is quite deep into the dire side of things, so you don't want to go that far. In fact, now they're going to try and turn this one. MIPH are going to join in. Onto the Phoenix they go. Narman will get caught out. It does get taken down immediately, as now Wami going to be slowed up and dragged right back to the high ground. Another great set of kills here for MIPH, and AG, they just had no right to be there.
Yeah, there's no purpose for it, right? You don't have heroes that are able to farm, you don't have your cooldowns available, you weren't really in a position to transition it into a mid push, so it's just a little bit of poor movement coming out there. And JG, I mean, he's sitting 4th on net worth, but he actually has a lot of gold that he's been holding onto for quite some time, so maybe feeling like he just needs to be able to have this BKB earlier on as opposed to the Boots of Travel.
It's fair. I guess the problem is if he gets caught by the cogs, he's kind of screwed without the BKB up. So,
yep.
Bottom side, MIPH might get run into here. Azura does see Ken. Hookshot is going to land onto the Temper Assassin. Going to be a great pickup for Ken. He's going to try and force the fight. Nice kick away, Lucify. He'll save, at least for now, but Ken still in trouble. They've seen him. Ken surely has no way out now and doesn't. I thought the kick was towards the low ground, and it was, but the range just was not there.
Nice attempt, for sure. We were mentioning before, with the Bat Rider, obviously needing that BKB for that purpose, of getting out of the cogs. But you've also got, with all the farm that he's been able to pick up on Teehee with stealing these dominated creeps, he's got the 4-staff available. So you're just going to see multiple heroes playing this sort of role, either being very survivable or enabling the movement coming through from the TA and the Bat Rider.
One way to play it, sure. Looking back at this Medusa, DB, top of the net worth now, has caught up to the TA, and of course with all these ganks happening onto Ken, it's not going to be too difficult to do so. DB going to be able to get towards that Mantis style very, very soon, and on the side of MIPH, they haven't really found a way to try and gank him up on the Dusa. They're kind of playing it very slowly, waiting for Ken to be ready. And you know what, Ken? He's not even going to go for the BKB up. He's going straight for a Desolator. So maybe just trusting his teammates to be able to kick him out or just 4-staff him out of the cogs every time, but certainly feels like you're going to need that BKB eventually. Can't always rely on the 4-staffs as MIPH. They're going to try and make a play, but it's looking rather rough for them. They've got to approach the Radiant Triangle, and that's not going to be easy to intercept. Army Geniuses already knowing this, just kind of sit back on that triangle and relax. And nothing's going to come out of the smoke for MIPH.
Yeah, they had the Hawk sitting over the TA as she was farming the Ancient Camp, and I mean, these guys have played enough series against each other. They know that when these guys are looking to make this sort of play, the rest of the team is going to be playing on the other side of the map, so they just grouped around accordingly, and now, once they've waited out the smoke, they look to make their own sort of movement on Army Geniuses, trying for the wraparound, but they would have seen the direction that that rocket flare came from, so you just see, I might say they're being pincered into the side a little bit, but it also enables them to split up and TP away.
Does. The only person left is Lucify down on the top lane, and he does get caught out by the Radiant Triangle. Oh, roll away though.
He hookshot into the back of the Phoenix.
Oh boy, Lucify. Oh, he's gonna be able to make it. Cogs not in range to connect, and that's very unfortunate. It's the classic block on the hook. Always happens at City of Phils.
I know you said you were a clock spammer, Mike, and
Oh,
I know that feel as well.
Yeah. It's happened too many times for me, Danog. Narman down a bot lane. Rain it down. Narman, he'll get caught by the spear. Rupido not playing around though. Narman still trying to find a way out. Might be able to commit the egg and does do so. Do they have time to get rid of it? Lasso was there. The egg is dropping, but so are the side of MIPH, and now the egg, it does explode. Oh, they didn't get through it. JG's gone. Ken might be next. He will try to run with the refraction charges. TP away in the tree line. Does he make it? Yes, he does. They had no idea where he blinked to. But still a great team fight out for Army Geniuses.
It just shows the importance of those BKBs, right? You need them to be able to contest into the Phoenix. Even just level 1 ulti only needs the 6 hits, and well, they only got 5 in all of that duration. Great team play coming out from Army Geniuses, and it brings them back into it. 2k net worth lead. Still, oh, actually now it's favoring Army Geniuses about a 2-1.
That could be a rough time now for MIPH. DB again, top of the net worth board, having a very good time with this Deucer now, and MIPH, we're not happy with the way this game's going. Again, still working towards the Desolator, so still not switching towards the BKB. Does seem very valuable this game, but he's going down the more damage kind of build, and that is classic for the Southeast Asian server, of course, but this is a professional game here for Ken, so I just don't know about it. I don't.
Yeah, he could afford it right now. Like,
yeah,
disassemble the Dragonlance and just very easily look to pick that one up. So, feels like a bit of an odd choice. I mean, you just had a lot of key ultimates used: Stone Gaze, Supernova, Thunder God's Wrath. Maybe they were thinking, well, if we get this super quick Desolator, we can look to maybe bring it into Roshan, but well, it's not going to be quick enough.
That it is not. Deso is up. On the way at the very least here for Ken, so we'll see what he gets done with it. Of course, now he should build into a BKB, but God only knows how long that's going to take. Meantime, DB
Let's
again.
theorize.
Go on, John.
What item is he going to get before? No, that's all right. Just forget who I am. What item is he going to get before BKB, if he does?
Well, I don't think he will, but well, if he does, what could he possibly buy apart from a BKB? Like a
Bloodthorn. Just something expensive that doesn't do anything. They're looking for a gank attempt. This time DB's actually a fair way away from the team.
He is going to pop back. Stone Gaze. He's alright for now, but the Dragaway is there from our Bat Rider as DB's been trapped up. Arena is down, but now the egg is completely going.
Out of mana.
Protected DB, though, he's out of mana. He needs the help right now, and it's not coming. They've got one down. It's the big one on the Medusa. Zura, he's going to try to move in, but he's a bit of a sitting duck doing this. He'll pop his BKB, he'll secure the Teehee kill, and that might be enough for MIPH, who need to retreat now. And they will do so.
What a fantastic arena coming through as well from Rapido. Just being able to put it right in between where the rest of the team was and where you are. They caught out.
Well, they've got the Bat Rider. They will trade Wami for that, and now Azura is going to move back in, trying to force the fight.
Sunray.
He is burning out to the Sunray of Narman. Great setup from Azura. Tips flying out, and well, so far the mid clockworks look really good. I've got to give it to him.
I think Azura's just looked really good. He's just been making plays all around the map, super enabling for the Phoenix in particular, but also the Zeus for a lot of those defensive capabilities. What I was saying before with Rapido was just with where he landed the arena there, it put himself in between the rest of the team and the Medusa, and so it meant that when he tried to go for the hook shot on Azura, he actually just ran into the Mars Arena wall. So maybe thinking that it was kind of like the Pango Rolling Thunder or the Rolling Boulder and the Earth Spirit that goes through the arena, but it absolutely does not.
See what MIPH want to do now. Like, somehow Ken's still on top of the net worth board, but the game does seem to slowly be falling apart for the dire end of things. It's like AG have...
I mean, they got that Helm of the Overlord as well, mate.
Oh, they do. Concerning times now. So Wami won't have too many problems now with the Ench. Up until, I believe, the level 20 mark, right? Yeah, level 20.
Yep.
Still enchant the Ancients, and I guess you've just got to take it now if you're the Ench. Just to have that counterplay in the middle of these team fights. But an immediate smoke.
Yep, not lacking any ultimates right now on either side. So it really just comes down to who can find who. T-Heat, again, putting himself in harm's way. He did it to great effect in the previous series, but it's always just stand in between wherever Ken's farming, and there we go.
Ken.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
he
got
gets
it.
hooked immediately. Azura, perfect hook shot in. Ken's gone already. More tips out for Azura. They even found T-Heat on the edge. On this help of the Overlord now, they could really get to pushing. It does feel like MIPH, they just don't have the answers to respond to this. Terrible news here for the Dire.
What a game by Azura. Just constantly able to find the exact shots that he needs, and he's going into the halberd next. Obviously, the evasion is going to be great against the TA in general, but that disarm, it's going to punish the lack of a BKB.
Certainly is. He still hasn't queued that BKB up, by the way, but he has got a Mithril Hammer in the backpack, so you assume it's coming. It's Azura. I'll look around for a bit more, but nobody nearby him on the clock. They've only really settled for the bottom tier 1 tower as well.
But what if he got the Maelstrom, Mike? He needs more farming.
I mean, you never know, Danog. You really do never know. Azura. Hook shot
These
with the
calls, you
creep.
can't trust him.
No, you certainly can't. You can't trust the creeps either. Azura, he has his hook blocked by a creep just then. Narman does deny it off in the end, but just a bit too late to catch the Bat Rider. AG, they are still on the chase for more kills. But the BKB has now been queued. Ken is getting a BKB. That's good news.
Oh, okay. We can breathe a sigh of relief.
Radiant are scanning.
There's Rupido's one as well, finding it before the TA. You just start to question whether it's too late now. Like, have you missed your power spike completely?
I mean, it feels to be like Army Geniuses are in a really good spot. Obviously, I mean, they're taking away a Roshan, or at least attempting to, before a TA lineup. Like, one of the best heroes at being able to put that early game pressure on. Ken doesn't even have a TP, so even with this BKB coming out to him, there's absolutely nothing they can do to stop this.
Roshan, gonna go down for free. Aegis will be up on the Doosa.
They just smoked right in front of a creep wave as well on Made in Philippines, so they're rattled.
They are certainly rattled right now. Exclusify gonna have his smoke broken, so DB can move in. Roll away. GG on the run, but
He got
Azura
a
might
glimpse.
find. Oh, yeah, he knows. Hook shot right on target.
Azura.
Perfect hook shot. BKB forced out by JG, but the egg now down just to make sure JG cannot turn this one. He'll have to run. Rocket Flare does connect, and now the Thunder Gods is there as Narman cans the tip over to the Bat Rider. Oh, Azura, he is just torturing them. Maybe more. Or maybe not. They're looking at that tier 2 mid tower now.
Try and put a little bit of pressure onto the bot lane. This time around, he's gone for the Meld Dispels talent. Obviously very important against the Phoenix. Or can we find him?
Oh, how does that tree not break? How does the tree not break on the first throw, but when the wild axes come back, that's when it breaks?
You know, boomerangs work in mysterious ways, Mike. We should know this.
TP will move into the mid tier 2 tower now. Won't take him too long to get it done. What do you think MIPH can do now to try and turn this game back their way?
I mean, what else are we really waiting for is the question that's going to answer that, right? Looks like Earth Spirit might nearly have the Wraith Pact available, so not going to be too bad. I mean, at least with the Medusa, you have the split shot to be able to take it out, but it certainly makes things a little bit more challenging. Bat Rider as well, Blink Dagger, still doesn't have it 25 minutes into this game, prioritizing, of course, the BKB and the Boost of Travel instead, but realistically, you can't rely on an Earth Spirit to make all of your initiations for you. I think JG having that could be the big turnaround potential that they need.
Mid lane. They didn't want to make the jump on Tihi, but they may take Rupido. Zura waiting. Oh, they're going to see Ken in a moment. That's the pick-off they really want. So he does have a BKB up, so it's not going to be as easy as it was, but instead they'll make the jump in onto Rupido with the cogs. Not going to trap anyone in, so Azura forced to back out of there. Be hooked down for another 35. Maybe it's a team fight they can force now as DB has Horseman spotted out, but no, instead they found Ken on the TA. That's terrible news. He'll BKB up, but the Petrifies there immediately onto Ken. He didn't turn around. Ouch.
Yeah, ouch is the way that I would be putting that, and yeah, they could just continue to push on forward. I don't believe he had bought out anything previously, but there's nothing stopping this push moving in with a fortification, I suppose, but just going to have to use it for that first wave. Very nicely cut, though, by JG. It'll probably cost him his life.
Zura setting up everything once again. Grey Cox pushback. JG forced the BKB up and trying to run away from this crazy clockwork, but I don't think he's getting out. Rocket Flare up is going to give the vision. Wild Axes do connect, though. He does have Firefly up now, so he's going to cut the creep wave and run. Chase is still going, though. Now is Shivers Guard Nam, and he'll intercept JG. I think he's going to get tipped again, but maybe not. Narvin.
Nobody left.
He's all right. Oh, Rupido.
Even Barees just running circles around Rupido. Oh
DKB
no!
up.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
That's not going to help. Doesn't work like that. Maybe this is why they weren't building the BKBs, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, feels like you could get a little bit more aggressive earlier on before it was this much of an issue, right? The Medusa is well and truly online at this stage. And you have to wonder, like, they might be lacking a little bit of damage now. You know, you've gotten past the phase where the Zeus is not so great in lane and Enchantress is great in lane. But Zeus late game, this damage output is just ridiculous, you know, especially having picked up the static field as well. It's going to be a very useful tool. So, yeah, I feel like they're having damage issues on Made in Philippines side. He's going for the Chrysalis, but it almost feels to me like you kind of need to have a Hurricane Pike this game just to be able to contest a lot of these movements that are coming through from Army Geniuses.
I kind of agree with you on that, Danog. One of those things, like, it doesn't really feel like he's even able to check how much damage he has, because he's never able to do anything in these team fights. Lucify could not roll away from the clockwork. Another great pickup here from Azura. And it really is one of those things, like, you're going to get a Chrysalis up, you'll build into a Daedalus, but if you can't hit anyone anyway, it's not going to do much.
This is a game where you just feel like you can't move anywhere. What a perfect Hawk as well, scouting out both the Batrider and the TA. They're going to look to set up for it. They should know. They should know that they see them.
They do. Roar is out. The Batrider being caught immediately. At least Ken gets to run away. They got the TA out of there, but they are going to get JG on the mid-bat. He's down without buyback for 60 seconds. And that'll allow Army Geniuses now to surely move into that final T2 tower.
Yeah, they're just looking to take all the safer towers while they've got this net worth advantage. Still going to be at least 2 minutes away from the Roshan. So yeah, just do the safe thing. Take away the triangle. Look to farm that one up as much as you can. Grow your net worth lead. And then look to close out the game with that second Roshan.
Army Geniuses.
They might even just go as well, right? Like, they don't have Glyph. You've got a Beastmaster. You've got a Medusa that's crazy farmed, and Bat's dead.
I love the fact that he got the Dark Troll Summoner instead of the Ancients as well. Like, the Skellies, just so much damage with the rally. And look at the tower, it's just gone. Screw the Ancients. When you've got this Dark Troll Summoner, that's always the option. They are going to have a lot of trouble trying to defend this one. Backdoor protection does kick in, but the creeps are on the way. JG, he'll be back
Still
up
no
now.
Lasso.
Lasso's not up like you mentioned. Bit of a tough defense to happen here, and AG, I don't know, they might just keep going. DB, oh, nice man to dodge. He's completely dodging the roll, not allowing a kick away, but they've got to back out now. They can't make the, I don't think they can continue this team fight. No, I say that, DB, moving in with the Silver Edge out onto the Earth Spirit, but that'll be about it. They'll get one Rax, they'll back themselves out of there.
I mean, they could just play for Roche, right? Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing it, and Main of Philippines, this almost feels like a last hurrah for them. They've got the Lasso just coming off cooldown. They're going to look to try and catch someone out. Of course, Azura would be pretty great because it feels like he's the main one enabling a lot of these team fights.
DB, they know he's in there. Dust is out, they've got the Lasso, they've caught the Medusa at least for now, but there's Irina down. Wami, he's going to jump in with the Roar. The TA could be in danger, but DB, he's still fine. They've got Lucify down, the egg will explode, no problem as Azura. He'll keep trying to chase a bit more. JG may get caught out, they've spotted him with the Rocket Flare, but Ken is going to jump back into this team fight. They bought back on the Earth Spirit, so they're going to try But the retreat is upon us now. AG still trying. Azura getting taken down, and so will the Phoenix. Not a bad buyback whatsoever.
Very nicely done there by Lucifer on the Earth Spirit. He actually geomagnetic grips the Phoenix mid-dive, so he can't cancel it. He comes right back to the rest of the team and is just a sitting duck. So, well, unluckily for Made in Philippines, is the longest possible respawn time for the Roshan. Still means, though, that they've got this potential to look to push on forward.
Mid-tier 2 tower. Gonna drop, no problems here. MIPH able to get one, but Ken gonna be broken. Slowed up by this Eye of Skadi, but there's gonna be no follow-up to it. Just DB getting a little bit more aggressive on this Medusa. And somehow MIPH, they're still in this game. Ken, still gonna be cautious. I don't think he can fight DB, but he's stuck around on the triangle. He's gonna be slowed up. Oh, boy, he dies to a neutral at the least, but...
Okay.
What?
It's a bit greedy, for sure. I mean, your team was nowhere to be found, and 4 people had respawned.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And now, Azura, hookshot out onto Teehee.
He'd already used the 4-stuff.
Teehee, well, he's going to try to run, but Mommy's going to have the roar out. 4-staff back up in 3. He still has time, but there's your Hawk Dive out there trying their hardest. Azura, Cogs push back, Teehee still trying to run. The 4-staff, though, not going to prove to be enough. And AG, they might be trying again at high ground very soon.
Yeah, potentially. They might, again, just still be playing around that Roche pit. But Enchantress actually bought out there, so he wanted to go for the full Hurricane Pike, be that additional damage that I said they were lacking at this stage. You know, you still compare a Zeus with the Enchantress. Zeus is going to win out every time. It's got far beyond the period where Ench is going to be able to do work. And honestly, you don't even know who you target at this stage.
Tier 3 tower. It's going to be under siege now. DB will get right to work, and he's got that Frenzy from the Thunderhide as well, which does help quite a lot. 75 bonus attack speed on a Medusa. Never a bad thing, I'd say. Unless you're the other team as MIPH. They're going to head low ground even without Ken, but AG, they don't want the fight. I think they just want the outpost into Roshan. And they've already got the outpost. So Roshan, 45 seconds away. It'll be very important for MIPH to try and fight this one.
They're doing a good job on Army Geniuses. Just keep this top wave shoved in with the creeps. Doesn't matter if they die, you'll just find another one. Zeus, of course, has so much map presence.
There they go. Roar is out. They've caught JG already. That'll be the Batrider gone. The smoke attempt not going to work out for MIPH as Azura going to find another. Rupido getting caught out. Is going to drop, it seems. He will try to hold his ground, but it's not going to be enough. Forget Roshan. They're going high ground once again, it seems. They will miss out on the Earth Spirit, but it won't matter. Tier 3 Tyrants and Rax are way more important.
Yep, no glyph.
Hookshot.
As long as this,
Azura.
you got to buy back.
They will buy back. Onto 2. Mars. And of course, Batrider back into it, but Lucifer is already gone. JG still trying onto Azura. Unable. No, in fact, they do get him. They drag the Medusa back now. Maybe they can take him down, but DB
Manta dodge
with the
again.
Manta. He does get away, but they don't have an Aegis up. They need some help, but they're not going to get it. DB is going to drop behind the tier 3 tower, and Roshan's up.
Yeah, and they know it too. This is the longest possible Roche respawn, so they're going to be able to go in, look to take that one up. Ken, almost level 25 as well, and I thought that team fight would have gone much worse. I'm a big fan of Lucify, but he went in super deep and didn't actually drop the Wraith Pack totems, so I thought the damage coming out from Army Geniuses would have been a little bit too overwhelming, but a great spear back from Rapido just to be able to catch out the Medusa inside the base.
Wait, do they not realize Roshan's up on MIPH, or do they just not feel confident? Maybe now that they... Mommy,
so, but you go solo.
Oh boy, Rupido already caught out. Will BKB up and try to run, and actually makes it out as he drops the arena.
Okay.
I mean, they got the dominated creep at least.
This is a mid-clock. If he comes back, he can absolutely influence this Roshan. Especially now that you've wasted BKBs. Yeah.
TP to the top tier 1 tower. Rocket Flare's going to give all the vision they need. Hawk Dives are there as well, so it's a very hard Roshan to take safely. MIPH, they're going to try and make this one work. Roshan falling so darn low, they'll roll in, they'll try to force a fight. Barish, he's going to be targeted first on this Zeus. In the meantime, towards the north, Ken still trying for Roshan, but Narman intercepting, intervening. Another roll is there by Lucifer, and Ken's made the jump in, but can they get the Phoenix in time? Narman, he'll get the egg off. He'll survive. Hookshot is there. Cogs pushed back right back into the egg. Ken, he's going to be keeping up and try to make a run out of there. And he might just be fine, but they have another roar available. They'll connect it onto the Mars. It's going to be Rupido gone for 100. And Roshan suddenly going back the way of Army Geniuses.
How? How did they defend that Roshan?
Oh, Lucifer. He's going to try to take the Aegis. It's on the deck. Wami. No, but he's got it. It's just sitting there.
It's still there?
Yeah, it is. DB will take it.
Oh, the deny! Oh, so close. I thought the Dark Troll Summoner would get it.
It's all right. He's got the Aegis up. 2 heroes down without buyback rather, and it might be time to go high ground once again for AG.
Level 25 on the Deucer as well, so those split shot modifiers making this team fight so much more challenging. You know, you're going up against a bunch of BKBs, but they're not going to mean anywhere near as much anymore.
The tier 3 tower not going to last very long here. Roar is up as well, so they've got pretty much everything apart from Egg and Thunder God's Wrath they would want. Mid-racks will go down, no problem. Rupido's still down for 35 seconds, which will allow them to take a 4v5 team fight. Or just take the top racks for free. DB though, gonna get lassoed and dragged. Raw is broken by the Lincoln, so the Medusa's still in big trouble. Jumping with the Shivas, DB is gonna go for the fight, and now the hook shot. It lands onto 2, they are taking them down. MIPH, they're in big trouble now. DB though, he may lose his first life very soon, but he won't mind the reset, I don't think. Because they are still trying to take him down, and they will.
It gives time for Mars to respawn though. This could be the difference.
It could be, but JG's in trouble again. They are just taking him down so easily with the slow out. He is gone. Hook shot in onto the TA. The Mars is caught out. Rupido, he's going to drop without dropping anything. Oh, this game's over. This is such a sad way to end this series for MIPH, who really should have won this one 2-0. Let's be honest. And now, well, it's going back the way of AG, it seems.
Oh,
X
man.
out.
This would be the dieback.
They've got the TA. Can they lock him down? Forced after them with the hook shot. Azura all over it once again as they find another. GG's called. So these things happen. These things do happen, but it's rough.
It's rough for sure. I gotta say, Narman, Azura, claps all around, man. They have just... They've changed my mind on this mid-clock. You know, it didn't really feel like, in isolation, the most amazing clock game, right? It forced them to go into earlier BKBs. But the thing is, Made in Philippines, they were kind of in two minds, right? You had a lot of people go those early BKBs to be able to fight. Then you had Ken go an early Blink Dagger, Dragonlance, Desolator. They never took advantage of the Roshan. Like, to have a TA lineup and for there to be two Roshes and you get neither of them is a pretty big mistake on my end. And, well, Army Geniuses, it was probably not in the way that they thought that they would be able to secure that series, but they get the W at the end of the day.
That they did. A pretty rough affair here for MIPH for sure, but again, what can you do? Sometimes the power just goes out and you don't really have a fix on hand. Of course, Danog, I believe we will be having an interview, hopefully coming very, very soon, from one of the players over on the side of AG. I mean, it's hard, right, to do an interview after a series like that, because we'll have to talk about Game 2 in particular, I think, here for AG, and whether they thought it was actually, you know, I suppose there was potential for them to come back in that Game 2 is what I'm trying to say, but it did look pretty rough. I mean, I don't think they were making a comeback, so we'll see what they have to say once they do get here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it felt like there were just too many items that they needed, right? They until you got the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider, they didn't have any reliable jump. Until you got a bunch of 4-staffs, Clockwork was always going to ruin your day. You didn't have the damage to be able to deal with the Medusa, and it was just all happening at the exact same time. We saw them smoke under creep waves. Like, they were feeling the pressure for sure. And even just in that last Roche fight, right? You had 4 people alive versus 3, the Medusa and the Clockwork both dead, and they still weren't able to convert onto that, just running in solo and throwing away what possibilities they had to potentially turn that one around.
That they did, and we are still waiting for an interview. I've got a message that I can't check. I keep reminding our beautiful admin that I can't look at Discord messages right now because I'm pulling your camera off.
Don't worry. No, it's messaging me, so we're good. We're good. We're still waiting for the interview.
Excellent. All right. See who we get. AG, they have a tendency of celebrating after a game. You know, I'm sure you've seen the ping pong matches that can happen sometimes, and the crazy shenanigans that they do tend to run after a victory. So chances are they are still trying to nominate somebody to get onto the chopping block and have to talk to us for a few minutes. We all know the interview is way harder than the actual series is, and well, maybe not this time for AG. We'll see. Maybe they thought the series was harder because it certainly looked that way.
Yeah, for sure. And they made this Beastmaster work. I was not a believer, for sure. You know, as soon as it came out, I was like, really? Into the edge? But it did provide them the push that they needed, right? That was the big missing piece of the puzzle for them. Just make space for DP to come online, and the unexpected one was Azura and Naaman just popping off. Just amazing team play together, landing impossible hooks, and yeah, it was them that won this game for me.
Yeah. Well, while we're here, I mean, we may as well talk about the upcoming matches, of course, for Division 1, because again, we are still waiting. Boom vs. Talon is going to be the first one coming up. Danog, do you want to... I know you're not going to be casting it, so do you want to have some fun making some predictions live on air right now? Who takes out the Boom vs. Talon series?
Let's say Boom 2-1.
2-1. So you think it might be a close matchup?
I think so. I think Boom... I mean, we've only seen them play once, right? But I haven't really seen in that series too much of a change from their previous playstyle, and I feel like it was kind of figured out at the major. So maybe with Talon, with their great support staff, they will have had the time to be able to just dissect every little moment of that, and that might end up giving them the one game. But I think Boom's class is just gonna overcome that in the end.
Okay. Talk to me about the next one, though. Fnatic versus RSG. I mean, RSG have looked fantastic. Fnatic, though, they've also looked fantastic as always. What happens there? Because I know you in particular really like RSG. You were casting them throughout, was it 2-2 in Div 2? You were kind of following their story. So what are you thinking about that one?
Well, they were the chubby boys, and unfortunately only 4 of them are actually chubby. Xiao Bonbon is an imposter in that regard. But like I was saying before during that game, Azura, he's kind of like the old Exilern. I think Exilern is just overperforming a lot of the time, and he's doing a lot to really net his team a good spot to be able to transition into victory. But he's coming up, of course, against a great mid laner in Armel, who, I mean, he nearly knocked out OG with that Keeper of the Light performance that we saw at the Stockholm Major. Just, unfortunately, a couple of things coming unraveled, and who knows how the world might be different if just that one series goes a different way.
Yeah. Well, we do have an interview on our hands. So far, all I know is it's Clairvoyance's account, which is pretty standard for AG. Yes. So let's find out the hard way who it is. Hello, are we speaking to Clairvoyance? Are we speaking to someone else from Army Geniuses? Who is this?
Oh no, MLP, it's good to talk to you for the first time, my friend. Hello.
Welcome, sir. It is good to talk for the first time, Clairvoyance. How you doing, sir?
I'm a little stressed, to be honest with you, but I think coming out of that series, barely surviving it, I would like to say. It feels alright for now, but it's pretty clear we got work to do.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about it. Like, Game 1 was a pretty rough affair. Then Game 2 comes around, and I think Danog and I both agree that the chances of a comeback weren't really too high. It's a pretty rough way to go about the series, but do you feel like Game 2 you could have came back, or do you feel like you guys maybe got a little bit lucky with the forfeit?
I'll start with the first one. Regarding Game 1, I think accountability is an important thing, and I think that series, or rather, sorry, the first game is basically on me. Right. I think we had some misunderstandings on some matchups that were supposed to go our way, but obviously, if you saw that game, we basically lost 3 lanes, so whatever our matchup knowledge was either outdated or misconstrued, and as a result, we kind of gave up that first game pretty fast because we don't really scale better either. So we opted for the natural strategy, and if anyone has been following AG as AG fans, we do like this Medusa and her scalability. Now, I do understand some people tend to prefer the Morphling sometimes because of the new aghanims as well as like the general mobility, but Scotty to Scotty matchup wise, Medusa usually wins that matchup, especially because she usually plays with a net worth advantage.
Right.
And as you saw in the second game, you say it's kind of like a close call or like a tough comeback, right? Because Morphling is actually ahead. But it was one of those games where, execution-wise, I feel like we have the tools to find this Morphling between the Storm and Disruptor. There aren't very many easy ways to get to this Morphling hero, especially when he has like a decent lane, aside from like the ability to just jump from fog, right? And I kind of feel like we had that, but because we weren't able to connect with our spells and our quote-unquote counters, our counters didn't interact with what they were supposed to interact with, right? So I think the game kind of progressed in a way where it looks passive and they're kind of running us over with this coddle that's getting really big. And yeah, it did look rough, and I think we kind of got out lucky on that one. But I think the third game as well, like a lot of people doubted our draft. They look at this Zeus, like what the hell is this Zeus? They look at this Clockwork mid, they think we're just copying Tundra. But a lot of these players, not only do I talk to from these other regions, but I also feel like we spend a lot of time as a team and individuals to review these games to get a deeper understanding of things. So I just hope that the fans can give us some more of a chance and trust us a little more in this process. And like the truth is, yeah, we're a Division 2 team, we're learning, but I think that these guys have it, and I think they can get there, and that's why I decided to fly over this season.
Okay. Go on, Danog.
Fantastic. I was just wanting to ask, with the players, I feel like you had some really strong individual performances, particularly in that game number 3. Does that come into your decision making at all when it comes down to, all right, what sort of strategies are Army Genius strategies, or is it more down the lines of we just think this works overall in the meta?
Yeah, so one of the toughest coach dynamics, in my opinion, from I guess all my tenures in the past, is that sometimes it comes down to like the coach, or in my case, like my confidence and understanding versus the player's confidence and understanding, right? I feel like in the first game we kind of tested the player's confidence, with the I guess AG flavor pick. Some people know like the DB Pudge, for example, right? That we introduced a couple of weeks back, but this did not work. And sometimes you have to kind of dive into the deep to try and Hail Mary something out, and that's when I decided to kind of just make the call. I don't necessarily think we have too many specialty picks in this series. A lot of what we showed is actually relatively new that we've only been practicing for a few days now. So yeah, like the individual skill matters in a sense that I trust these guys always to be able to perform. But once we have an idea of what we're like, once we're on the same page with the concept. But yeah, no, for the most part, I think game 2 and 3 were it came down to the wire, and it was kind of my call to push the button.
Well, cool. I think you've shared a lot already, so I think that's enough for me. You have anything, Mike?
Yeah, how's Southeast Asia treating you, Clairvoyance? Like you're with the boys right now, I'm assuming, at AG?
Yeah, it's a trip that I should have realistically made last year on Boom. Obviously, due to the COVID pandemic as well as all the flights going down, I was unable to do that. I want to say I'm glad to be here in a boot camp capacity again. I really enjoy working with professional teams. I like the boot camp environment. You don't love living with a whole bunch of guys throughout the entire like extended periods of time, right? But at the same time, it's something that once you're too far away from it for too long, you kind of miss it. So yeah, here I am now. I did get sick. I have a tendency to get sick whenever I come to Southeast Asia for the first time. I picked up bronchitis because these guys are pretty heavy smokers, and I was exposed to a lot of that. But yeah, I'm on my way to recovery, and hopefully we can recover the rest of this AG season as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Clairvoyance, I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope we get to meet in person at the LAN, Mr. Clairvoyance. It'll be an absolute pleasure meeting you, sir.
I do too, man. I think with all the maturity that you show, as well as the memes that you have with the former partner, as well as Danog and Aries now coming in, I'm sure you guys owe me a nice drink and a nice shirt.
First drinks on me, Clairvoyance. I'll promise you that. Well, thank you very much, and have a very good night ahead, sir.
Same to you. Take care.
Thank you. What an absolute
Always a
gentleman,
pleasure,
Dan.
Mike.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, "Go on, Daniel. Go on."
I was going to say, hopefully he sticks around for TI so that we can buy him that drink. Obviously, unless of course they end up making it through, right? They could have the absolute dream run, being able to go through into those last chance qualifiers, perhaps.
Yeah, I hope so too. Of course, just before we go, because I already see people in the chat asking about John, and Clairvoyance has added fuel to the fire, which is ironic because you have a fire background right now, but he said former partner. John hasn't gone anywhere. John's not the former partner. He's coming. John's at the beach, all right? John's at the damn beach. He's on vacation. Let the man have a couple days off. Danog, thank you for joining us, of course, on short notice because John X5 decided to go visit Paradise for a few days. And it's been a pleasure as always. And you have a fantastic night ahead of yourself, sir.
I will. I'll be in chat watching these Div 1 games.
All right. Well, if you are watching Div 1, I believe I'll be back to cast some more games. So don't go anywhere. Of course, we're going to start with Boom vs. Talon. We'll see you all again very, very soon.